Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to make yourself a cup of tea because today we have very interesting stories and one of them is a story about an OP's daughter who was very sick and in hospital, so OP called her boss to take a break from work. You'll be surprised by her boss's reaction. Please subscribe if you haven't and I hope you'll enjoy it. I broke my arm when I was around 10. Myself and a group of friends had been playing at the swing park and I fell off the climbing frame. The first thing I felt was an immense pain in my arm, it was so bad that I actually felt sick from the pain. My friends, understandably, freaked out and ran off in search of an adult, whilst a couple of them stayed with me in case my arm fell off whilst they were gone. This is a terrifying situation when you're 10. Eventually, my friends came back with one of their dads, he quickly checked my arm over and was around 80% sure that it was broken. He offered to drive me home and would tell me jokes in an attempt to cheer me up. He succeeded in making my friend cringe at his dad jokes and I felt myself relax a little. I was still in immense pain, but I wasn't worried about my arm falling off anymore. Eventually we got to my house and my friend's dad explained to my mom what happened. He's such a great guy, he even offered to take my mom and I to the hospital. My mom politely declined because the guy had to go to his work and she didn't want him getting into trouble. Once he'd left, my mom asked me all the usual worried parent questions. What happened? Where does it hurt? Do you feel sick? Etc. She then called my nice aunt to see if she could drop us off at the hospital. She was working though, and even though she told my mom she was leaving work as soon as possible, she would still take about an hour and a half to get to our house because of how far away our work was. That left only one option. Entitled aunt, brilliant. Surprisingly, she did actually seem somewhat worried when my mom told her what happened and she got to our house within 15 minutes. Entitled cousin was staying with her dad overnight, so she didn't come with us. Hell, she even brought me sweets to cheer me up, it honestly felt like I was in an episode of The Twilight Zone. Everything is going about as well as it could with my arm in a massive amount of pain. We get to the hospital, give the hospital all the required information, and head to the waiting room for what we expected to be a very long wait. The hospital is hella busy. My mom takes me towards the children's waiting area so I could play with the toys whilst I waited, entitled aunt following behind. I settled for playing with one of the plastic trucks so that I didn't have to move my broken arm. Everything was fine until a little girl, around 6 or 7ish, asked me if I wanted to play kitchens with her, which I immediately said yes to. She set out some plastic cups for a tea party and we play quite happily. Until entitled aunt decides to intervene like the interfering witch that she is. EA. What are you doing, sweetheart? Me. Playing kitchens with Sarah, I don't know, just figured she needed a name. EA. I thought you were playing with the trucks, why don't you go get one of them? They're so cool. Me. But me and Sarah are playing. EA. OP, little boys don't play kitchens. That's for little girls. Me. But uncle, my mom's brother, is a cook and he's a boy. EA. But he's a slur, you don't want to be one of those, do you? Mom. EA, he's playing with that little girl, leave him alone. EA. You really don't think it's weird? Mom. Getting pretty impatient. No, I don't. Now either leave the little ones alone or you can head home. Entitled aunt rolled her eyes at the pet name. My mom, even now, likes using pet names for me. She has a lot of anxiety around making sure that I know she loves me and cares about me, but she went back to my mom and sat down. Sarah and I talked and played for a bit, she asked me about my arm, and I told her what happened. I found out through our talks that she had gotten her ears pierced, but the company hadn't cleaned the equipment properly, which had led to her right ear getting infected, despite her mother cleaning it thoroughly every day. She went on to tell me that she was going to get the earring taken out and once she felt better her mom would take her to get her ear re-pierced at a different establishment. Despite the hassle she was going through at that point in time, Sarah was pretty proud of her ear piercings, which in turn made me think about getting my own ears pierced. I had run over to my mom to ask about maybe getting my own ears pierced with the money that I had saved up. I got pocket money for helping around the house and always liked to save it for things that I really wanted or for my mom's birthday and Christmas presents. Entitled aunt scoffed and made faces of disgust, as my mom would say, she looked like a dog chewing a wasp, but she didn't vocalize any of her concerns. After about an hour I was called up to get x-rayed. I said my goodbyes to Sarah and headed to the x-ray room with my mom. I'm going to skip all the more boring stuff. Basically, I got my arm x-rayed, it was definitely broken, and we were taken to a little room. There were about 4 beds in the room, each with a curtain for privacy, where we were to wait for one of the nurses to arrive and sort out a cast for my arm. Entitled Aunt had been allowed to join us at this point, as the hospital only allowed one adult to accompany the child to the x-ray room, never really understood why. She was still pretty pissy about my mom getting impatient with her earlier, so, obviously, she dropped the nice demeanor and pet names and went back to being her typical witchy self, and not witchy in a good way. She kept her mouth shut for the most part until the nurse decided to ask the question. The question that would make EA lose her crap. Nurse. What color of cast would you like, sweetie? EA. He likes the blue, it's the same color as his top. Nurse. Is the blue one okay for you? She asks me this with a look that tells me, you don't have to go with the color that this psycho wants. Me. I like the purple one. Entitled Aunt just glares at me. Nurse. Okay honey, a purple cast it is. EA. What? Scoff. You're actually going to give him a purple cast. Nurse. Well that's what he wants. Mom. EA, give it a rest, it's a damn color. EA. So? It's purple, little boys wear blue, not purple. Mom. It's not you that has to wear it, stop being a damn drama queen. EA. You're loving this aren't you? You're encouraging this kind of behavior. Mom. Looking like she wants to throw hands. I want my child to be happy. If a purple cast is going to make him happy then he's getting a purple cast. EA. Little boys shouldn't be wearing purple. He's getting the blue one, it's almost the same as purple anyway. Me. But if blue's the same as purple, can't I just have purple? EA. Are you a girl? Me. No, but I like purple. Mom. OP isn't your kid, and I'm not having you make him feel like crap for liking a certain color. At this point the nurse is trying to defuse the situation, and I can only look on in shock. They argued for a couple of minutes more until the nurse managed to get hold of a doctor and another nurse, who quickly asked Entitled Aunt to leave the premises. She did, but not without getting the last word in by shouting, "You're a terrible mother, wanting your son to be a slur." My mom proceeded to apologize to the doctor and nurses for stooping to EA's level. They told her it wasn't an issue and that EA was out of order with her language. Entitled Aunt had naturally drove off and left us at the hospital for another half hour until Nice Aunt came to pick us up. She had stopped off at KFC, my favorite fast food place as a kid, to get us something to eat and had gotten me a teddy bear at a toy shop in town. It was bright purple. Nice Aunt was quick to post a picture of the 3 of us and the new teddy bear on Facebook, knowing full well that Entitled Aunt would see it just to piss her off a little bit more. Entitled Aunt actually blocked both my mom and Nice Aunt of Facebook after this incident, and we had no contact with her for about 2.5 years. She eventually got in contact with my mom and sent her a massive apology through text and told her how she just wanted to be a family again, which, you cut contact with us, all we did was enjoy the peace and quiet. Anyways, turns out she was moving house, and since she barely has any friends or family that actually like her, she was using us to help her move, because paying someone to help is too expensive when I have family to help me. Also, if anyone is wondering about why my mom let her back in her life, EA was a pretty religious person, and my mom just believed that was why she was so against the idea of me being like that. Of course neither of us believe that all religious people are like that, we have many Christian, Muslim, pagan etc. friends, and they are all wonderful people. Needless to say, no one else had an issue with my cast. Some of the kids at school playfully teased me about it, but it wasn't malicious and they were just more excited to sign my cast. Breaking your arm in school apparently makes you pretty popular when you're 10. Anyways, that was a little story about my psycho aunt, sorry if it's all over the place or not very well written, I'm hyped up on coffee and am attempting to type on my laptop with fake nails. I hope y'all are having a fabulous day my little cherubs. Can I just say how awesome your mom is for being so forward thinking? A lot of moms would freak out if their son asked about ear piercings and liked girly things. I have never seen someone be so angry over this before by the way. This happened 5 years ago at my first job. It personally didn't happen to me but to the assistant store manager that I got along with very well. SM. Assistant store manager, EB. Entitled boss, D. Doctor. So ASM told me this story one night when it was just the two of us closing and she was wanting to rant to somebody about what happened 2 days prior. I don't remember some parts of the story she told me, but I remember the key parts. SM went out to dinner with her daughter to a seafood restaurant. Her daughter had never been allergic to seafood before, but she had a bad allergic reaction to something to where her throat completely closed up and 911 had to be called. They apparently had to intubate her and later at the hospital the doctors had to put her on life support and she was in critical condition. The SM stayed at her daughter's bedside the entire night and called loved ones about the situation and at the same time called our store director, EB, to call out for work since she was opening the store at 9 a.m. She called the store director at 6 a.m. to give them enough time to call another manager in to open. The store director didn't answer her phone, so she left a voicemail. An hour or so passed after she had left a voicemail, and by this time her daughter was surrounded by their loved ones saying prayers. SM's phone went off the middle of a prayer and it was entitled Boss on the caller ID. SM excused herself from the hospital room and out to the hallway to answer the call. SM. Hi EB. EB. Hi ASM, I just got your voicemail. You know you can't call out. You are the opening manager and have to be there to open the store. You need to come in for work on your scheduled shift. ASM. What? No, I am not coming to work. Did you not listen to my voicemail? I am at the hospital because my daughter is currently on life support in critical condition. EB. Yes, I did listen, but you still need to come in to work. You are not the one in the hospital, so you are still fit to work today. SM is freaking out at this point. That's when her daughter's doctor was coming down the hallway and saw ASM in distress. D. Is there something wrong? SM, covering her phone. My boss is trying to tell me I need to come to work, even though I just explained to her why I am here. D. Let me talk to her. SM was taken back by the nice doctor she has known all night suddenly get very angry. She passed her phone to the doctor. D. Hello, this Dr. D. Am I speaking to ASM's boss? EB. Yes, why are you on the phone? D. I am on the phone to tell you why ASM cannot make it to work today. Her daughter has been hospitalized all night in critical condition and on life support. Let me explain what life support is. Life support is when a machine is keeping a human being, that happens to be ASM's daughter, alive. If that machine was not hooked up to her right now, ASM would be making funeral arrangements. Let me ask you this, are you a mother? EB. Yes, but. D. So you should understand how she feels that her daughter, her flesh and blood, is in a hospital bed with wires and a machine attached to her to keep her alive. SM has been by her daughter's bedside all night sobbing and praying that her daughter's condition will improve. Her entire family is here right now not sure if they have to say their final goodbyes. Once again, SM will not be able to work today, and I will gladly give her a doctor's note and write my exact feelings on this matter for your HR department to see. Goodbye. The doctor hung up on EB, and ASM was completely gobsmacked. D. Now. Let's go to your daughter's room. We have some good news. SM's daughter's condition started to improve, and they were able to remove her off of life support, and her body started to breathe on its own. She recovered quickly through the day, and she was able to go home that afternoon with ASM. ASM was able to make her scheduled shift the next day and was confronted by EB. EB. Never do that to me again. Do you know how embarrassing that was for me? SM. I did not do anything. That doctor chose to do that. I'm sorry that my daughter was near death and I couldn't come in to work. EB. I already wrote you up. HR will be hearing about this. You're lucky I'm not firing you. SM submitted her own HR report about EB and gave a copy of the doctor's note. I read that note myself that night. That doctor was true to his word and wrote his exact feelings about EB. SM ended up getting a call from HR management and they apologized for what happened and informed her that they already contacted EB's boss and she will be reprimanded for her behavior. EB ended up having to take a sensitivity class for about a week and was not allowed to work for that week. The doctor is awesome and he would get a gift basket and a thank you card for doing that. Also, I think the boss should get fired, not just send him to a sensitivity class. So me and my dad, mostly me, are really into paintball. I got a GEO4 and a new free kit for my birthday, and I like to be comfortable when I'm playing, meaning I don't like to wear winter clothing while playing, my dad, and I thought we should just wait for spring to roll around, meaning now. The cast. EM. Mom, EK1. Kid 1, EK2. Kid 2, SD. Sweet dad, me. Me, D. My dad. My dad are entering the pro shop. EM comes up to me and asks if I would go easy on EK1 and EK2. I say sure because I could tell that they were younger than me and that they were new to paintball. Me and my dad are filling up our pods and hoppers so we can start heading down to the field to play, but EM came up to me and my dad to ask if we could give them some paint. EM, could we have a case or two of your paint please? Me. Sorry ma'am, but me and my dad are planning to use all of our cases of paint. SD. Ginny, we should be fine. We can always buy more if we need any more. EM. But they have so much paint. They aren't gonna use all of it. Now may I remind you that me and my dad are really into paintball, so we usually get 6 cases of paint to last us the whole day. D. If we have any left over at the end of the day, we will give the rest of the paint to you. EM snarled at us in disgust like we just pissed on each other right in front of her. Skip an hour and 30 minutes or so and me and my dad are on the opposite team of the family. Now call me a prick, but I wanted to get the mom out as disrespectful as I could, but in a way that is deemed sportsmanlike. Now at paintball park, bunkering was allowed, and I plan to use it to my fullest extent. As I'm playing, EK1 and 2 are not calling a single hit and are wiping off the paint marks. I get pissed and I go for the hand because being host in the hand is one of those spots you don't want to get hit. EK1 starts crying and a referee takes him out of the match. The mom was pissed. She started to walk towards me and as soon as she was 20 feet away, I popped 3 in her leg and 1 on the mask. The ref pulled her out of the match and the game ended. As we are in the safe zone, EK2 finds GEO2 and starts to scare people with it. I snatched it away from him and told him to never point this at things. EK2. Can I use your equipment please? Me. No. My equipment is important to me and is also very expressive. I don't want anything to happen with it. EK2. I want to use the equipment now. SD. Chad, not real name, let's go over there and look at the other matches. EK2. No. I want to use the equipment. EM. Why won't you let him use the equipment? D. I just got it for him for his birthday, and this is brand new and quite expensive, we just don't want to run any risk of damage. EM. Oh come on, our gums cost $50 each. Your equipment isn't expensive at all. It's just like all the others. The game was about to start, but I realized EK1 took my mask, HK Army something I forget. As I'm chasing EK1 around the safe zone, EK2 hurts me. I snapped. Me and D. What the hell are you doing? I could have lost an eye or worst, and you just help you son do this to me. The actual hell lady. The 2 kids started to cry, and EM was crying too. A ref came over to see what the problem was, and EM tried to play the victim by saying that I was framing them by rubbing paint on my face to make it look like they shot me. I swear, SD gathered up all his strength to say that his wife and son did it and that he was done with her. The cops were called by me and my dad, and we pressed charges against EM, and our court date is being decided. And yes, we gave all of our paint to SD at the end of the day. I'm happy that you didn't get hurt in the eye, but I'm wondering what will happen to them if they didn't miss. How did they think they would get away from this? Well guys, that's it for today. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider subscribing, and if you missed the last episode on the channel, I'm gonna link it right here. The story is about an entitled mother who lied to everyone about her kid to get her way to the spa, and she didn't care about how dangerous that was for the kid. Check this out if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.